Cod rather than on Broadway or in Hollywood. Mom says they could use Arthur. He's the evil genius of fundraising. When's he getting back from Greece? I shook my head. You know great Uncle Arthur. He comes, he goes. My uncle, founder and now silent partner in the business, had been invited to go sailing in the Mediterranean by an old Royal Navy buddy, and he'd been out the door of our shared 1784 saltbox house before he had finished quoting Homer, "The wine dark sea." Theatre isn't one of my interests, and summer's the busiest time in my shop, so I don't have much to do with the festival despite Uncle Arthur's involvement. This year, I've been kept up to date with every development through Jayne's mom, Leslie, who's the chair of the volunteer committee. The Hound of the Baskervilles, I said, is a departure from the festival's usual lineup. I'd hardly call it a classic play. It was suggested as a way of luring Sir Nigel, Jayne said. He'll be reprising his role as played in the West End. It's going to be a huge hit. Everyone is beyond thrilled. We'll be packing them in all season. As well as theatre-goers, Holmes fans and tea drinkers will be beating down our doors. I smiled at her. Jayne was right. Not only the usual theatre-going tourist crowd would come to West London to see the play, but Sherlock Holmes fans would be attracted as well. And where would Sherlock Holmes fans rather spend their pre- or post-show time but engaged in a shopping frenzy at the Sherlock Holmes Bookshop and Emporium, followed by traditional afternoon tea at Mrs. Hudson's tea room. I made a mental note to get in extra stock of Sherlock Holmes, The Complete Novels and Stories, Volume 2, the volume containing The Hound of the Baskervilles, the second series of Sherlock, the contemporary BBC TV series, with the episode titled The Hounds of Baskerville, and any related paraphernalia I could round up. Located at 222 Baker Street, my shop is primarily a bookstore. As the name suggests, we specialise in Sherlock Holmes and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Not only the original stories, but all the modern contributions to the pastiche, such as the Mary Russell series by Laurie R. King, the authorised novels of Anthony Horowitz, the series of young adult books by Angela Misery, and the myriad short story collections featuring the great detective or his imitators. The contemporary books on our shelves are new, but we carry second and later editions of the Conan Doyle books, and the occasional first edition that falls into Uncle Arthur's hands, as well as bound copies of the Strand magazine in which the stories first appeared. The Holmes books are supplemented by non-fiction about Sir Arthur, his contemporaries, and their lives and times, as well as what we call gaslight, books and story collections set in the Victorian or Edwardian time frame. I'd prefer to keep the business strictly a bookshop, but times are not good for independent bookstores these days, particularly ones as specialised as mine. So I also stock DVDs, movie posters, mugs and dish towels, games, puzzles and card sets. Anything and everything that might feasibly be related to the great detective. Anything within the bounds of good taste, that is. I'm continually surprised how much is not. Great-uncle Arthur and I own the Emporium, as well as half of the tea room next door at number 220. Jayne, a professional baker, owns the other half and runs the place. In keeping with the theme, Mrs. Hudson's specialises in afternoon tea and cream teas. I don't know much about the theatre world, I said, but isn't it getting late for them to add a new play? Opening night is only a few weeks away. Mom says Sir Nigel wasn't able to formally commit before now because he's been ill. The company's been rehearsing The Hound with an unknown young actor prepared to step in if Sir Nigel couldn't make it. Sir Nigel played the role for years in the West End, so he knows all the lines. Said unknown young actor can't be too terribly pleased, I said. Such is showbiz, Jayne said dreamily. Don't you have enough to do with running the tea room, never mind taking up a part-time career in theatre? She stared at me through narrowed eyes. I swear, Gemma Doyle, sometimes I think you can read my mind. People say I'm smart and observant. I don't know that I'm smarter than anyone else, but I know how to interpret what's right before my eyes. Jayne's been talking about the festival for weeks. When she thinks no one's looking...